The Indian football team find themselves at a bit of a crossroads given that their FIFA World Cup qualifiers for 2026 and the AFC Asian Cup qualifiers for 2027. Remember, it's being played simultaneously, so one qualifier is what determines it for both tournaments. Well, it's not really going very well, is it? Two games, back-to-back games against Afghanistan presented India with the best chance, let's say, of getting 6 points on the trot and all but ensuring that second place was there for the taking, given that Kuwait, who would be India's other major competitor for that second spot, had back-to-back games against Qatar, which they ended up losing. However, India could only take 1 point from those matches, and it leaves the team at a set of crossroads, and fans who are usually used to tempering expectations and expecting the worst find themselves at a tipping point, not only against head coach Igor Stimac, but also the All India Football Federation, the body that governs the sport in India. After the 2-1 loss in Guwahati, which would probably represent the nadir of Stimac's reign, which has largely been filled with a lot of positives, fans took to social media not only to demand that Stimac gets sacked, but also to ask for the AIFF to disband. I mean, that's just how low things are when it comes to the federation, who've been embroiled in a lot of controversies, that fans are more than okay with calling for the federation to be done with for now and bring in fresh new office bearers who will hopefully be able to get Indian football on a path. Let's look at some of the reactions and also look at why it is that what it is the fans are calling for may not necessarily happen immediately. So, starting off with the Blue Pilgrims Twitter account, which is of course one of the fan accounts, which is one of those fan groups that are very well known. They say that the focus was the World Cup qualifiers. Now we're hanging our heads in shame at the AFC Asian Cup and hanging our heads in shame at the World Cup qualifiers. And they use the hashtag Stimac out and AIFF disband. We'll get to why they use the second hashtag in a bit, but more reactions as they come. One fan here says that if this doesn't get him sacked, I don't know what will. Hashtag Stimac out. Another fan says, utterly shambolic that we have lost to the side against whom our 6 points should have been guaranteed. This coach is totally clueless and has absolutely no idea where he's taking the teams, just vibes and astrologer. For the sake of our nation and any progress, Stimac out is needed. Now, in case you're wondering where the astrologer jibe comes from, well, it comes from that old story wherein the AIFF had apparently paid lakhs and lakhs of money to hire an astrologer to figure out which players to pick. So, obviously, there's a bit of a, let's say, callback to that particular moment, but it doesn't really make for very good times if that is something that fans have still remembered and are now throwing in the face of the coach at a time when he's definitely at his low. More reactions coming in, and another fan said that this is what Stimac didn't prioritize the AFC Asian Cup for. This 99 minutes or 90 minutes of right wing back Manveer playing at right wing and striker, 90 minutes of back pass and vibes, 90 minutes of giving depression to a Guwahati crowd who turned up to support you and your team. And it's interesting that he mentions, if you're wondering what this Manveer at right wing and striker or right wing back comment is that Manveer Singh, traditionally a striker, but more often than not recently for his club, has been playing as a right wing back or in the right of a back three. So that is your second choice striker after Sunil Chhetri, which tells you everything you need to know about how shambolic things are right now with the national team. Another fan says that losing to Afghanistan, where 6 points should have been guaranteed, is nothing but utterly shambolic at a display at its best. When the team with great potential chokes so hard, it's embarrassing. The coach needs to go out for the sake of any future of football in this country. As I said, pretty big statements coming in, but an interesting double thought here from Mohammad Arshad, which we'll get to the second part in just a bit. He says that everyone is tweeting Stimac out right now. But do you think that he's the only problem in Indian football? If he goes, the AIFF will simply hire another incapable coach and possibly even worse than him. We don't want this incapable federation as well. Please use hashtag AIFF disband, which is why I said a lot of fans not only let's say expressing their displeasure at Stimac, but even the federation, because he goes on to point out once again, he's saying, do you really think that the AIFF will even care about this result? No way at all. The current AIFF should be dissolved at all costs and replaced with capable members. Now, one of the reasons this is being said is of course due to the fact that the AIFF also has been, let's say, facing some corruption accusations, and those corruption accusations have been noted by the AFC, the Asian Football Confederation, not in a very good place for, let's say, them to be in, this Indian Football Federation. But that exactly is why maybe, despite what fans are saying, there's a chance still that Stimac will get to see out at least the last two, let's say, matches of the qualifiers. The reason for that being is that despite the fact that they dropped so many points against Afghanistan, they're still in second place. Should they beat Kuwait, whom they are 1 point ahead of right now, it means that they'll be guaranteed second place. Of course, beating Kuwait would be easier said than done, but India did beat Kuwait 1-0 in this leg of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers. So if they can do that, then whatever result they get against Qatar just won't matter, because they'll be 4 points ahead. Even a loss would mean that they make it into second place. So that is a bit of a blessing. Of course, there is a chance that Afghanistan, you think, might be able to spring an upset, but Afghanistan are up against Kuwait and, more importantly, Qatar, so they will most likely drop points as well. Every chance that the Indian team can still automatically qualify for the AFC Asian Cup, but any hopes you may have had of an outside chance of qualifying for the World Cup seem to be gone. And what's worse, the crowd has now turned on Igor Stimac. Can he salvage this? Seems very unlikely. Maybe the best case you can hope for is him leaving with his head held high, because remember, he did say that if we don't make it to round 3, I am going to be quitting. So what are your thoughts? Do you think Stimac should quit? Do you agree with these fans? Do you think he should be shown some more patience, given he's actually done rather well and people are forgetting the good parts right now? You can let us know that in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Don't forget to download the AajTak app, and if you're already on the channel, go ahead, check out some other videos we've posted as well. For now, from my side, it is goodbye.